The fall of Constantinople on May 29, 1453, marked one of history's most dramatic turning points. The ancient city, for over 1,000 years the heart of Byzantine Empire and Eastern Christianity, fell to Ottoman Turkish forces after a brutal 53-day siege. The conquest ended the Roman Empire's final remnant, transformed Mediterranean power dynamics, and symbolized the transition from medieval to early modern world. Constantinople's fall sent shockwaves throughout Europe, scattered Greek scholars westward, accelerating the Renaissance, and established the Ottoman Empire as dominant Mediterranean power for centuries. This is the story of civilization's collision, human courage facing impossible odds, and a siege that changed world history. Constantinople was founded by Roman Emperor Constantine I in 330 CE as New Rome. Constantine chose the strategic site at the Bosphorus Strait connecting Black Sea to Mediterranean, controlling trade routes between Europe and Asia. Constantinople became Eastern Roman Empire's capital after Rome's decline. The city flourished while Western Rome collapsed under barbarian invasions. Byzantine Empire preserved Greco-Roman culture, law, and learning through medieval period. Constantinople became world's largest and wealthiest city, a beacon of civilization when Western Europe descended into dark ages. Massive defensive walls made Constantinople virtually impregnable. The city repelled countless sieges by Persians, Arabs, Bulgars, and Vikings across centuries. Constantinople seemed eternal and unconquerable. Byzantine Empire's glory faded gradually through centuries. Fourth Crusade in 1204 proved catastrophic when Western Crusaders sacked Constantinople instead of fighting Muslims. Crusaders plundered the city, destroyed treasures, and established Latin Empire replacing Byzantine rule. Byzantine exiles eventually recaptured city in 1261, but empire never recovered fully. Byzantine territory shrank continuously as Seljuk Turks conquered Anatolia. By 1400s, Byzantine Empire controlled only Constantinople and small surrounding territories. Once mighty empire became tiny states surrounded by hostile Ottoman Turks. Yet Constantinople remained symbol of ancient Rome's glory and Christianity's eastern bastion. Ottoman Empire emerged from small Turkish principality in Anatolia during 1300s. Ottomans expanded rapidly, conquering Byzantine and neighboring territories. Ottoman sultans possessed military genius, superior organization, and religious motivation. Ottomans saw themselves as warriors of Islam destined to conquer Christian lands. Constantinople represented ultimate prize, the city Muslims had tried capturing for 800 years. Sultan Mehmed II ascended Ottoman throne in 1451 at age 19. Mehmed possessed intelligence, ambition, and obsession with conquering Constantinople. Mehmed's contemporaries called him the Conqueror, even before his greatest victory. Mehmed immediately began preparing for Constantinople's siege. Mehmed's preparations were extraordinarily thorough, demonstrating strategic brilliance. Mehmed ordered constructing Fortress Rumeli Hisari on Bosphorus, controlling naval access to Constantinople. The fortress was completed in just 4 months in 1452. Rumeli Hisari's cannons sank vessels attempting to reach Constantinople, cutting the city's maritime supply lines. Mehmed assembled massive army estimated between 80,000 to 200,000 troops, including elite Janissary infantry. Mehmed commissioned Hungarian engineer Orban designing massive siege cannon. Orban's cannon was 27 feet long, weighing 19 tons, firing 600-pound stone projectiles over 1 mile. This basilica was largest cannon ever built, requiring 60 oxen and 200 men to move. Mehmed assembled entire artillery train with numerous cannons, revolutionizing siege warfare. Mehmed built naval fleet of approximately 120 ships, transporting troops and blocking Constantinople from sea. Emperor Constantine XI Palaiologos ruled Byzantine Empire's dying remnant. Constantine was brave, competent leader facing impossible situation. Constantinople's population had declined to approximately 50,000 from hundreds of thousands in previous centuries. Constantine commanded only 7,000 defenders, including approximately 2,000 foreign volunteers. Genoese warrior Giovanni Giustiniani arrived with 700 soldiers providing crucial military expertise. Constantine desperately sought Western European assistance. Pope promised aid if Byzantines accepted Catholic authority over Orthodox Church. Religious compromise proved politically impossible despite empire's desperation. Western assistance never materialized, leaving Constantinople essentially alone. Constantinople's defensive walls remained formidable despite city's decline. Theodosian walls built in 400s consisted of triple defensive layers: outer wall, inner wall, and moat. Walls stretched 4 miles protecting city's landward side. Walls featured 96 towers enabling defenders to rain projectiles on attackers. Walls had repelled dozens of sieges across 1,000 years. However, walls were designed for medieval warfare, not gunpowder artillery. Stone walls that resisted catapults and battering rams proved vulnerable to cannon fire. Constantinople's defenders understood walls might not withstand modern Ottoman artillery. Mehmed's army arrived outside Constantinople in early April 1453. Ottoman soldiers surrounded city's land walls, establishing siege camps. Ottoman artillery began systematic bombardment. Orban's massive cannon fired 7 times daily. Each firing created thunderous explosion heard miles away. Cannonballs smashed against ancient walls, cracking and crumbling stone. Defenders worked frantically, repairing damage nightly, using rubble, timber, and barrels filled with earth. Repair efforts barely kept pace with destruction. Byzantine defenders knew walls could not endure indefinitely. Mehmed attempted multiple assaults during siege's early weeks. Ottoman troops attacked walls seeking weak points. Defenders repelled attacks through desperate fighting. Giustiniani organized defensive positions brilliantly. Byzantine soldiers fought courageously, knowing defeat meant death or slavery. Civilians, including women, participated in defense, carrying materials and supplies. Byzantine Greek fire, incendiary weapon, destroyed Ottoman siege equipment. Early assaults failed with significant Ottoman casualties. Mehmed realized frontal assaults were too costly. Mehmed shifted to artillery bombardment and attrition strategy. Naval warfare became crucial siege element. Byzantine chain boom stretched across Golden Horn Harbor, preventing Ottoman ships entering. Chain boom protected Constantinople's northern sea wall from naval attack. Mehmed devised audacious plan bypassing chain. Mehmed ordered ships dragged overland around Galata across hills into Golden Horn. Workers constructed wooden road greased with animal fat. Approximately 70 Ottoman ships were dragged overland in single night on April 22. This incredible engineering feat astonished defenders. Ottoman ships now controlled Golden Horn, threatening Constantinople's sea walls. Defenders were forced, dispersing troops defending additional walls, weakening overall defense. Underground warfare added another dimension. Mehmed's engineers dug tunnels attempting to undermine walls. Defenders recruited Serbian mining engineer, detecting tunnels through acoustic methods. Defenders countertunneled, intercepting and destroying Ottoman mining attempts. Underground battles occurred in claustrophobic darkness. This subterranean warfare proved inconclusive but diverted resources from wall defense. Constantine desperately sought assistance throughout the siege. Byzantine vessels attempted breaking through Ottoman blockade, seeking Western help. One ship succeeded reaching Mediterranean, but returned reporting no assistance coming. Western Europe was divided and unwilling to commit forces. The Pope's promised crusade never materialized. Venetian and Genoese merchants prioritized commercial interests over Christian solidarity. Constantinople was abandoned to its fate. This abandonment embittered Byzantine survivors, who blamed Western Christianity's indifference. Conditions inside Constantinople deteriorated as siege continued. Food supplies dwindled. Residents faced starvation. Morale declined as walls crumbled under relentless bombardment. Religious processions sought divine intervention. Icons were paraded through streets. Citizens prayed desperately for miraculous salvation. Constantine addressed defenders urging continued resistance. Constantine's courage inspired defenders. However, military reality was undeniable. Constantine knew defeat was probable. Constantine resolved to die fighting rather than surrender. Mehmed's patience wore thin as siege exceeded a month. Ottoman casualties mounted with successful assaults. Mehmed's advisors urged withdrawal, fearing prolonged siege would weaken Ottoman military. Mehmed refused to abandon his obsession. Mehmed ordered final massive assault. Ottoman troops prepared for decisive attack. Mehmed promised soldiers Constantinople's wealth as plunder. This promise motivated troops anticipating riches. Mehmed planned three-wave assault, overwhelming exhausted defenders. Final assault began pre-dawn on May 29, 1453. Ottoman cannons bombarded walls for hours, creating deafening roar. First wave consisted of irregular bashibazoks, poorly armed troops sent to exhaust defenders. Defenders repelled first wave, killing hundreds. Second wave consisted of Anatolian troops, better equipped and trained. Intense fighting occurred at damaged wall sections. Defenders fought desperately, repelling second wave. Defenders were exhausted from continuous fighting. Third wave consisted of elite janissaries, Ottoman Empire's finest troops. Janissaries attacked in disciplined formations, showing no fear. Desperate fighting erupted along entire wall length. Kirkaporta Gate incident proved decisive. Small postern gate near Blasherny section was reportedly left unlocked after sortie. Approximately 50 Ottoman soldiers discovered the unlocked gate entering city walls. Whether accident, treachery, or confusion, the breach proved catastrophic. Ottoman soldiers opened larger gates, allowing more troops entering. Defenders rushed to contain breach, fighting desperately in narrow streets. Simultaneously, Giustiniani was severely wounded by gunfire. Giustiniani's evacuation demoralized defenders, losing their best commander. Defense began collapsing at multiple points. Constantine XI demonstrated extraordinary courage in final moments. Learning walls were breached, Constantine reportedly said, "The city is fallen and I am still alive." Constantine removed imperial regalia, becoming ordinary soldier. Constantine charged into battle, seeking death among his men. Constantine's final words were reportedly, "Is there no Christian here to take my head?" Constantine died fighting, though his body was never definitively identified. Constantine XI became martyr hero, dying defending his city against overwhelming odds. Byzantine Empire ended as it had survived, with dignity and courage. Ottoman forces poured through breached walls. Street fighting continued briefly, but resistance collapsed. Mehmed entered Constantinople mid-afternoon, riding to Hagia Sophia Cathedral. Mehmed dismounted at Christianity's greatest church. Mehmed ordered Hagia Sophia converted to mosque. Mehmed prevented complete destruction, ordering troops to spare buildings. However, Mehmed allowed traditional 3 days of plunder promised to soldiers. Ottoman soldiers sacked Constantinople systematically. Soldiers looted churches, palaces, and homes. Priceless treasures were destroyed or stolen. Libraries containing irreplaceable manuscripts were burned. Citizens were killed, enslaved, or raped. Approximately 4,000 civilians were killed during initial sack. Approximately 50,000 were enslaved. Survivors who paid ransom or hid were eventually spared. Constantinople's thousand-year Byzantine Greek character ended in 3 days of horror. Hagia Sophia's transformation symbolized Constantinople's fate. Christianity's architectural masterpiece became Islamic mosque. Mosaics were plastered over. Minarets were added. Christian city became Ottoman Istanbul. Mehmed established Constantinople as Ottoman Empire's capital, renaming it Constantinople, later Istanbul. Mehmed repopulated city, encouraging Muslim, Christian, and Jewish settlement. Ottoman Constantinople became multicultural imperial capital. However, Greek Orthodox population never recovered Byzantine-era prominence. Consequences of Constantinople's fall reverberated globally. Byzantine scholars fled to Western Europe carrying Greek manuscripts. These scholars taught Greek in Italian universities. Their manuscripts and knowledge accelerated Italian Renaissance humanist movement. Western Europeans accessed Greek philosophical and scientific texts previously unavailable. Byzantine refugees' contributions proved invaluable to Renaissance intellectual flowering. Constantinople's fall paradoxically contributed to Western intellectual advancement. Ottoman control of Bosphorus and Eastern Mediterranean disrupted European trade with Asia. Overland spice trade routes became more dangerous and expensive. European merchants sought alternative routes to Asian markets. Portuguese explored sea routes around Africa. Christopher Columbus sought westward route to Asia. Constantinople's fall indirectly motivated age of exploration. European discovery of Americas and sea routes to India resulted partially from Ottoman trade disruption. Constantinople's fall reshaped global trade patterns fundamentally. Military lessons transformed European warfare. Constantinople's fall demonstrated gunpowder artillery's devastating effectiveness. European powers invested heavily in cannon and firearms. Medieval castle walls became obsolete against artillery. Military architecture evolved, developing low, thick walls and angled bastions resisting cannon fire. Ottoman military technology and organization impressed European observers. Europeans adopted Ottoman military innovations. Constantinople's fall marked transition from medieval to early modern warfare. Religious implications were profound. Constantinople's fall traumatized Eastern Orthodox Christianity. Orthodoxy lost its traditional center and imperial protector. Russia eventually claimed Constantinople's Orthodox legacy, calling Moscow Third Rome. Western Christianity felt guilty abandoning Constantinople. Some called for crusade recapturing Constantinople, though none materialized. Ottoman toleration of Christian subjects prevented complete Christian elimination. Greek Orthodox Church continued under Ottoman millet system, allowing religious autonomy. However, Orthodoxy operated under Muslim political authority for centuries. Constantinople's fall symbolized medieval world's end and modernity's beginning. Medieval Christendom's thousand-year eastern bulwark had fallen. Rome's final remnant was extinguished. The city connecting ancient and medieval worlds became Ottoman Islamic capital. Medieval certainties dissolved. Europeans questioned their world's stability. This psychological shock contributed to Renaissance questioning of medieval assumptions. Constantinople's fall marked historical inflection point. Legends and myths surrounding Constantinople's fall proliferated. Prophecies claimed city would fall when particular signs appeared. Last Constantine supposedly matched First Constantine according to prophetic symmetry. Stories circulated about hidden Byzantine imperial regalia awaiting restoration. Greeks developed legend of Marble Emperor. Constantine's eye would return from death, reclaiming Constantinople when time was right. These legends expressed grief and hope, sustaining Greek identity under Ottoman rule. Myths demonstrated Constantinople's continuing symbolic power long after political reality ended. 4 original Ottoman accounts documented the siege, providing conquerors' perspective. Greek accounts by survivors like George S. Francis provided Byzantine viewpoint. Western observers, including Venetians, documented events. These multiple perspectives enable comprehensive understanding. Archaeological evidence, including cannon balls embedded in walls, confirms written accounts. Theodosian walls stand today bearing scars from Ottoman bombardment. Visitors still see 1453 siege's physical marks. Constantinople's fall teaching enduring lessons. Even formidable defenses prove inadequate against technological innovation. Courage and determination cannot overcome overwhelming numerical and technological superiority. Ancient institutions and empires eventually fall regardless of past glory. Constantinople's walls seemed eternal until they weren't. Historical change is inevitable and often violent, yet civilization endures despite catastrophic disruptions. Greek culture survived Ottoman rule. Constantinople's intellectual heritage influenced Western civilization through refugee scholars. Mehmed the Conqueror achieved his obsession transforming history. Mehmed was 21 years old when conquering Constantinople. Mehmed's achievement eclipsed previous sultans, establishing him among history's great conquerors. Mehmed ruled 30 more years, expanding Ottoman Empire. Mehmed showed religious tolerance, establishing stable multicultural empire. Mehmed became Renaissance prince as well as Muslim warrior, commissioning artists, reading philosophy, and patronizing learning. Mehmed's complexity transcended simple conqueror stereotype. Constantine XI died heroically defending his doomed city. Constantine refused surrendering or fleeing. Constantine chose death as Byzantine emperor over survival as refugee. Constantine's courage inspired future generations. Greek independence fighters invoked Constantine's memory. Constantine became symbol of Greek national identity and resistance. Constantine demonstrated that defeat can be honorable when facing impossible odds with courage. Constantinople's fall reminds us that nothing lasts forever. Great cities rise and fall. Powerful empires crumble. Thousand-year institutions end. Constantinople seemed permanent but wasn't. Yet from Constantinople's ashes came Renaissance, age of exploration and modern world. Historical catastrophes create new opportunities. Constantinople fell but Western civilization advanced. Byzantine refugees carrying Greek learning helped transform Europe. Constantinople's fall was ending and beginning simultaneously. Today's Istanbul stands on Constantinople's ruins. Hagia Sophia remains, museum, then mosque again, embodying city's layered history. Byzantine walls still encircle parts of modern city. Tourists walk where Byzantine soldiers fought desperately. Modern Istanbul is vibrant cosmopolitan city. Constantinople's thousand-year heritage remains visible beneath Ottoman and modern layers. The city endures under different names and rulers. Constantinople fell, but the city survives, reminding us that places transcend political regimes. Cities outlive empires. The fall of Constantinople ended era and began another. Roman Empire, started by Augustus in 27 BCE, ended with Constantine XI's death. 16 centuries of Roman continuity severed. Yet civilization continued transforming rather than ending. Constantinople's fall was catastrophe and catalyst. Understanding Constantinople's fall illuminates how historical transitions occur through violence and courage, tragedy and opportunity. Constantinople's final siege represents human drama at its most intense. Desperate defenders facing inevitable doom with magnificent courage, ambitious conquerors achieving historic triumph, and civilization's fate determined by 53 days of thundering cannons, crumbling walls, and mortal combat deciding world history's direction.